Hello and welcome back to Football Manager 2020 with Newcastle United. It is Season 6, our 4th season in charge of Newcastle, and as expected, if you didn't see the last episode, as expected, we haven't qualified for Europe. Although in the last episode, apparently we had. So yeah, apparently we'd qualified for the Euro Cup 2. However, if we look at the seeded teams and go all the way down to England, it's only Everton. Although we were told that we'd qualified, it's only Everton, so I don't understand, unless it's for the next year, maybe? I don't know, is that a thing? Hold on. So Everton qualified on the 2nd of March, everyone else seemed to qualify at the end of the season. Yeah, I don't understand this competition, it's really weird. I don't think we'll ever play in it. Obviously, as it is the first episode of a brand new season, what we've got to do is go through a lot of transfers. Starting off then with players who have been released from the club. I don't normally do this, but there's a couple of names, or one name realistically, that's somewhat important. Omar Abdulrahman has left. Marco Johansson, also the goalkeeper who spent a lot of time out on loan at various clubs, they've both left on free transfers. We have brought in £99 million worth of sales and then spent about £8 million. We've done something very brave and very risky, in my opinion. We are trusting in our youth players next season. We've brought in a couple of players to obviously supplement the team and replace some of the people that have gone, but we're focusing on the youth. I'm not going to go through every player who's left the club. I'm just going to kind of point out some of the big ones. Greg Taylor, the left back who we signed from Celtic, has returned to Celtic for just under £10 million. He was an absolute flop, wasn't he? Joel Linton has left the club for £15 million. He only had a year left on his contract. I thought to myself, we've got some good little youth players coming through. We've also got some other players that we can utilise as well. So let's get some money for Joel Linton while we can. £15 million signing for Rennes. Not a bad signing. 44 goals in 141 appearances. I think we got our money's worth. Another player who was a bit of a flop, Ricky Puig, the former Barcelona attacking midfielder, has left the club, signing for West Brom for about £19 million. We bought him on a free, so it is essentially 100% profit. I would have preferred to sell him abroad. No teams abroad wanted to sign him. West Brom have come in. He's probably going to score a hat-trick against us. Getting into the big money now, £25 million. Abdulkadir Omar has left, signing for Red Bull Leipzig. Similarly to Joel Linton, I think he had a year left on his contract. Wasn't playing as much football as perhaps he should be. Jean-Pierre kind of keeping him out of the side. Leaving for £25 million is a big amount of money for a player who was essentially a fringe player for us. He wasn't happy about leaving, however. And a transfer that I kind of was expecting, but I was expecting to get more money, is Amin Gouiri leaving the club, signing for AS Monaco. I think it says 30 million, but it might raise to more than that, because I'm almost certain it should have been more than that. He has left the club. Obviously, 18 goals in 64 appearances is not great for a striker. 9 goals a season. 9 goals a season. Not very good. So I think to get £30 million from him, I mean, attribute-wise, he's absolutely ridiculous. But he just wasn't doing the business for us, so he's moved on. We have also sold many, many other players, which we'll come to in a minute once I go through the players that have joined the club. The first of 4 players to join the club then is Aaron Banks, formerly of Manchester City, an 18-year-old Welsh central midfielder. He's going to sit in our under-18s. So we've bought 4 players, and one of them is a youth player. Now, moving into players who are actually going to be getting some football for us, and this one is an absolute ridiculous find. He is a 20-year-old Ivorian central midfielder and winger, apparently. I'm not quite sure how he can become a winger. It is Christ Chioli, maybe. This guy. He is absolutely ridiculous. Signed from CFFE, who are Centre de Formation de Football Elites, who are a lower division Ivorian side. My scouts randomly found him and went, you should probably buy him on a free transfer. It's actually cost us £5,000. £5,000 for a player of that quality who is going to walk into our first team, probably. He's going to basically be one of our, I think, 5 central midfield options that we have for our entire squad this season. So yeah, Christ, he's good, isn't he? For £245,000, we've gone and signed ourselves a striker. This, in effect, was the Joel Linton replacement. It is Antonio Gonzalez, a 20-year-old Spanish striker, formerly of Valencia, playing 97 times for Valencia B, scoring 60 goals. He knows how to score goals. Admittedly, it's Valencia B. £245,000 is pennies for this kind of player. 20 years old, 2.5-star current ability, 5-star potential. I think he could get good. Given some chances, given some game time, he could get good. Which is why I thought for £245,000, it's a no risk, is it? There's no risk there. And our most expensive signing for £5.75 million. This is literally the opposite of the last two transfer windows, isn't it? Mateo Lopez Baez, who is a 19-year-old Uruguayan striker who, last time I checked, was dubbed the next Luis Suarez. He could be the next Luis Suarez. So, with a player of that quality, he is the Amin Gouiri replacement. We've obviously still got Nicky Monasterio as well. Strike force-wise, we're looking pretty good here. So yeah, that's it. That is the transfer business. It's very quick, so we're probably going to have a little bit more going on in this episode. Other transfers, if I just sort by how much money, a guy called Scott Headley, Akwasi Martin, Toby Taylor, Bradley Coulton and Jan Mlaka have all left the club for various fees. Some of them have got a 50% sell-on as well. Scott Headley almost certainly does. I think Toby Taylor does as well. And then joining for various clubs on loan, Anderson Traore, Hossein Guesbawi, Georges Core, Romain Martin, George and Dor. David Francis has gone to Atlanta, Kelly Cabarrou, Dave Harris both gone to Blythe Spartans, and Alex Gibson going to Southend. So that means that in terms of our squad, this is what we're going to have. It's a fairly sizable squad. There's a couple of players obviously unregistered. Alexander Jovic can drop back down to the under-23s because he's unregistered, but this is what we're going to go with. We have got enough homegrown players now. We have 8 homegrown players, which is the minimum, which is perfect, which means we can now kind of start looking back again at signing more foreign players. Plus, a lot of these players who have been here for a number of years are actually now homegrown. Matthias Jakobsen, if we go information, he's trained at Newcastle now, so he is homegrown. One thing we are missing is perhaps a third choice goalkeeper, but we do still have Trevor Dolan, who is, I think, currently sat in our under-18s, but Trevor Dolan, if we need him, can be our third choice goalkeeper. Freddie Woodman signed a new contract, which I was umming and ahhing about. He's not amazing, he's very good, but he's not amazing. We probably could get a new goalkeeper coming soon, and maybe the next season, something like that, but Freddie Woodman only had a year left, and I thought, let's not risk it. So looking at defenders then, what I'm trying to do is have enough players for 2 players in each position. For central defenders, we've got 5 for 3 positions, so we're almost there. Tosin, Panzo, Suter, Big Dids and Gaston Yacaruso. Yacaruso, I think, is very close to being able to play. Big Dids also is fairly similar. Big Dids, obviously, he's played a few games for us in the past, spent some time out on loan in various places. He needs to start playing sooner rather than later. We also have Matthias Jakobsen and Marcus Stock. However, you might notice that I'm training them up to be ball-winning midfielders because Jakobsen, as I'm sure you know, he's a central midfielder. He can play very comfortably as a central midfielder. Marcus Stock, not so much, but I think as a ball-winning midfielder, he does have some abilities. He's only 19 years old. If we get him training him up soon enough, I mean, he's already a defensive midfielder as a ball winner, so hopefully it should come fairly simple to him to actually move slightly further up the pitch. When it comes to wing-backs, on the right-hand side, we've only got 2. It's Matthew Mori and Marlon Vasquez. We do have Joe Willock, who can also play as a right-sided wing-back. Oliver Batista-Meyer is also still here, but he's not really a wing-back, is he? And then on the left, we have Johan Mylard, Marlon Charles, and Carlos Restrepo, who I think was out on loan at Coventry last year. Didn't play a huge amount of football, so I'm going to try and get him playing more football this season for us. Because he's good. He's got a lot of potential in this guy. I'm hoping if he gets enough football behind him, he's going to start developing nice and quickly. Moving into the middle of the pitch then, like I said, 2 players for each position. So we play ball-winning midfielders and box-to-box midfielders. The ball winners aren't massively impressive. It's Matthias Jakobsen and Joe Willock. Those are the 2 players that are currently training there. We do have, obviously, a lot of other options. Maybe Moez Abcher can become a ball-winning midfielder. I mean, he's can't mark, but he's still only 19, got plenty of time, and apparently is now French. We're going to change that now. You can be the ball-winner midfielder on support. We also have, as box-to-box midfielders, Sean Longstaff is still here, Matty Longstaff still here, Jamie Shackleton, and also Christ is going to try and be a box-to-box midfielder. Then, when we move further up the pitch, if we just put all of those on, this is where we suddenly start to get a little bit overloaded. Batista Meyer, he is still training up to be a wing-back on support, but he can obviously play as an attacking midfielder. Willock, who we've already mentioned, if we go down, Miguel Angel Valenzuela, another box-to-box midfielder. Now, he's not a natural box-to-box midfielder, but we only play 1 player there. I think he'd be more useful playing just behind in the centre of the pitch. We're going to give him some chances, see how he does. If not, we just train him up to be an advanced playmaker, like Jean-Pierre and so on. Speaking of Jean-Pierre, we've also got him and Greg Huddle, who are basically going to be our 2 attacking midfielders. Both of them currently training as unconscious. That needs to change to be attacking midfielders or advanced playmakers. And then we move on to the strikers, where, again, I don't think we're overloaded. I kind of thought we were, but obviously we sold Joel Linton, we sold Amin Gouiri, so we've got 5 strikers. Arvan Appiah and Rafael Santos Bor are going to be the pressing forwards. Then we have Monasterio, Gonzalez and Mateo Lopez Bays, who are going to be the advanced forwards. We've also got another forward who's going to be joining us. I thought he'd already joined. Franco Di Matteo, who is currently on loan at Bologna from Inter Milan, will be joining us. I don't think it's a huge amount of money either. But yeah, he's absolutely filth. I think it is literally £2.1 million or there or thereabouts. So he's also going to be joining the club, but apparently that'll be next season. So yeah, that is our squad for this season. That is what we're going to try and stick with. Where do you think we're a little bit light in players? Personally, I think we're okay. Maybe we could do with another central defender, a slightly better one, because all of our centre-backs are 2.5 or 3-star current ability. Maybe we need a nice, big, strong central defender. We do obviously have Gaston Yacaruso, I think could become that central defender because he does have 5-star potential ability. Looking at the league then, if we have a quick look at the season preview, we are expected to finish 13th, which is fine. I'm happy with that. See, we're not in Europe. There's no EC2 there. We're not in Europe. The game lied to me. We're not in any players in the Media Dream 11. If we have a quick look here, the stars for us this season, apparently Matthias Jakobsen and Nicolas Monasterio, which I think was the same last year. And this is kind of what they think will be our starting 11. So Woodman in goal, Panzo, Jakobsen, Suter, Charles and Willock. Willock, not so sure as a right back there. Jean-Pierre, nope. Shackleton, yes, probably. Batista Meyer, nope. Bor and Monasterio, but the other way round, obviously, because we play Bor as the pressing forward on the right-hand side. So yeah, that is our little pre-season summary. Actually, that's not really, is it? We've played a few games. We had a little tour of South Africa. We played twice, apparently. Unbeaten pre-season, beating Coventry, beating Ajax, drawing 1-1 with TS Galaxy, whoever they are, beating Blythe, and then absolutely demolishing Olympiacos 7-0, with Rafael Santos Bor getting himself a hat-trick. Just a reminder as well of our club vision. They expect us to play attacking football. They expect us to use players from our club youth facility, which we will be doing. Marlon Childs is technically the only one who's come from our youth system, but I'm assuming a lot of the 19-year-olds from Colombia who I've signed also kind of count. Making the most of set pieces might be a bit difficult for us. Entertaining football, I'm sure we'll be doing that. High tempo pressing football, maybe, I'm not quite sure. They want top half. They want 5th round of the FA Cup and 4th round of the Carabao Cup. I want to win either the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup. We didn't have a good season last year for the FA Cup. The last 2 years, we got to the semi-final. I want to get to at least the semi-final this year in one of those competitions. Ideally, the final. I want to be lifting a trophy. That's my goal. So the board, in terms of transfers, are reasonably happy. A lot of players they reckon too expensive. Some of these, obviously, Santos Bor and Down were January transfers. So from the latest summer transfers, it's only Mateo Lopez Bays who they think might be quite expensive. But he's the next Suarez, so shut your mouth. And they're also not happy with players like Gouiri, Joel Linton and Abdul Kadir Omar. I say they're not. The fans aren't happy with those players leaving. So that is going to do it then for this first episode of a brand new season with Newcastle. Next episode will be later on today. It will be an away from home match up against Tottenham Hotspur. Where did Spurs finish last season? Hold on, let's have a quick check. Is it going to be something that we should be able to win? 5th place versus 7th place. That's definitely a match that we could win, although I don't have high expectations. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Football Manager 2020 with Newcastle United. If you did enjoy, do remember to leave a like. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. I'll be back later on today with the Spurs match. I will see you then.